We're here to tell you.
So
From the ripped
it
out.
was just a piece of no good can come from it.
No one likes us.
All right, here we are back once again with my main man, Big Joe Berzerk. Joe, to me, Big Joe Berzerk to what, 75,000 people on TikTok?
133,000.
You're at 133,000. Yo, let's just fucking start there. How does that happen, dog? Like, I don't understand Earth, how it works these days. I'm falling behind. I'm trying to keep up on the social media with all the kids. I learned how to say something about throwing shade the other day from the kids. I'm not hip. I'm not super hip anymore. But how does that happen? You signed up for TikTok, and within days you were in the thousands, and here it is. A few months later, you're at 130K. How does that occur? Do you even know? It's just some snowball phenomenon?
I don't know, man. I just fucking yell at people and shit. So, like, that's fucking what happens. My wife talked me into making a TikTok, right? And I was like, this is fucking stupid. I'm not doing this. You know what I mean? And so I was sitting there, and the first debate of the presidential election shit, and whenever the fuck that was, September, October, whatever it may be there.
Yeah.
When old Donnie J fucking laid out the Proud Boys stand back and stand by. You know,
right. That was when you first started.
Yeah, that was my very first video I ever made on the thing. And I literally signed up for TikTok that night. My wife had talked me into it. And I was like, oh, fuck this. I'm going to make a video. And, you know, just basically was like, called Donald Trump a bitch and fucking called the fucking Proud Boys out for what they are, which is fucking bitch made.
Yeah.
Told them to fuck around and find out, you know? And that video overnight, dude, like I remember waking up in the morning, like it was like, oh, this is whatever. I had one follower, it was my wife, and I fucking went to bed, and I woke up in the morning and I had like 700 some odd thousand views on the fucking video. And like, I was like, what the fuck is this shit all about, dude? And yeah, no, it just kind of went from there. I guess I'm just the big guy that is covered in tattoos and fucking yells at people.
Yeah. Well, and there's some, I mean, you're not a fucking dum-dum either. That's part of it. I have not seen one person clap back at you that, well, first of all, I think I've only seen one or two where they spelled every word correctly and used punctuation. I'm not hardly bullshitting, man. Matter of fact, I got into it with a dude today, like for 5 seconds. I ended up just telling him to go fuck his mother, and then made sure it was there long enough for him to see it, and then I blocked him. And he's a fucking fence walker anyway, some 20-year-old kid fence walker. Like, fuck this guy. I don't
yeah.
Yeah, like, it's so fucking funny. Motherfuckers got to just run their goddamn mouth on there. It's so bizarre to me. And I feel like that's probably where it's all the smoke. People are so heated, they want to get on there and be like, with you. And it boosts your fucking numbers and whatnot. You know what I mean?
Yeah, well, and then people want to talk shit. They want to run their mouth. You know, they want to be an asshole. It just turns out I'm way better at being a fucking asshole.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah.
I think part of the thing where it blew up too, you know, is, I mean, you and I have known each other for a long fucking time, you know, got all these internet tough guys and all this shit. And I had one of them that was, you know, stitching my videos or whatever you want to call it. And I was like, brother, I got a fucking 100-some-odd-thousand fucking followers. When you go live on TikTok, people like send you money and shit. It's fucking wild, dude.
Yeah.
So I was like, you want to fucking run your mouth? You know, I've got all these followers and shit. I'll fucking go live. And I guarantee you, I'll raise enough money. I will get your ass a motherfucking plane ticket. A homeboy of mine has a fucking boxing gym not far from my fucking house. I will fly your ass up here, put you up in a 5-star fucking resort, whoop the fucking shit out of you on a fucking live feed and send your ass home. What do you say about that? You know, all of a sudden.
I remember that. And he bitched up, right? Wasn't he a ghost after that?
Yeah, he fucking bitched out. He fucking started sending me private shit like, you need to mellow out. I'm like, what, dude? You know, fucking... you want to fucking talk shit? Let's make it happen, dude.
Right.
Fuck off, you know?
It's literally that old stupid ass adage if you can't stand the heat. But that's the thing is these motherfuckers go running into the kitchen and then they're indignant with the fire because they got burned. They're like, this fire's out of line. I can't fucking believe this, man. Take it easy. Yo, man, you came in here, stupid. You know what fire does? Don't put a penny in the light socket, you fucking ditzy motherfucker you.
Well, that's it, you know, and it's, I don't know, dude, the fucking TikTok thing now, it's like, fuck, I feel like I'm kind of like obligated to, I almost erased that shit the other day. Just because I feel like, yeah, dude, I feel like, you know, I don't know, man. All my shit is just me fucking talking shit to people. And I don't know, man. I don't feel right being that fucking internet tough guy, as people say, you know what I mean?
Well, you ain't, and you know that. And those of us that know you damn sure know that you aren't. And we'll get into that in a minute. Granted, you're cool talking about some of those things. I know that's not fun to talk about.
I'm down, dude.
But that's the thing, is that any internet tough guy shit. You said something and stood by your word. You said, yo, man, this happens to be the medium that motherfuckers are using to come at you. And you're like, well, okay, fine. I'll make it happen. I will take care of all of it. I'll book your hotel. I'll fucking this, that, and the other thing. I'll pay for the fucking mini bar. I don't give a shit, but you show up. We'll do the thing like Pootie Tang, and then you take your motherfucking ass back down south. But they just always break north and fucking don't show up.
Yeah, no doubt. You know, that's just, I don't know, man. It's a weird feeling, you know what I mean? I feel like it's, I don't know, man. It's like the fucking, I don't know, dude. Like the new age scene, you know, it's to where fucking 20 years ago, we were rolling around at the fucking Grange Hall or Trinity Hall and whatever and slow and just busting fucking heads. It's what we'd fucking do, you know what I mean? And now it's just kind of a whole entire another weird platform with a whole bunch of stupid motherfuckers on it. And I don't know, it's fucking, it's fucking weird, man.
Right? I mean, it's very bizarre. I really can't quantify it. I don't think that anything ever is going to stay the same. This is just how Earth works. Especially this is how the scene works. But at the same time, I'm like, I don't know if I can keep up forever with this shit, because it gets annoying. You know what I mean? The internet shit gets really annoying. And fucking that being said, I really miss going to shows, man.
I do too, dude, for sure. I miss going to shows and just going out in general, dude, and fucking hanging out and all that shit, you know? I guess the last thing I'll say about like that internet shit, I guess, the reason why I didn't erase that shit is because, you know, I had a bunch of people like messaging me and shit and whatnot. And they were pretty much saying like, I'm kind of like a voice for the voiceless on there somewhat, you know what I mean? Or fucking, it's letting people know that, you know, there are big fucking burly dudes who are down to fucking throw chingazos that, you know, are on their side too, you know?
Yeah, man. Putazos served daily. Well, let's get into you yourself, man. I know how you are. I know you're a real humble dude, but the fact of the matter is you are a guy I look up to. I care about a great deal, and I think your story is important, and I think it is highly interesting. I'm positive people will find it that way. Because I've been planning on interviewing you since before you even thought of TikTok. So I don't give a motherfucker about TikTok. I just wanted to talk to my man about
fucking TikTok.
Shit. So let's talk origin story. You're from Central California, yeah?
Yep. Well, born in Newport Beach actually, and then moved to, you know, Morro Bay when I was fucking, I was a little pisser, you know what I mean? So yeah, I grew up there for the most part, with the exception again, I got sent away when I was like, I don't know, in like 6th grade, however old that would put me. And then I moved to Riverside. And then from there, I kind of bounced around. I lived in Riverside and what the fuck is that other stupid town right next to it? The one that's right, I don't know, one of the other dumb fucking Inland Empire places.
Yeah. I almost said San Bernardino. That's not right. Fuck.
No, it wasn't that one. I can't remember what it's called. And then, I lived in the city of Orange, and then San Pedro. I went to high school in San Pedro for a while, which was an interesting time.
That's right. I forgot about that. What was that like down to San Pedro? This is you went to high school in San Pedro in the 90s. So what was that like?
Heavy. It was interesting. I remember my first day, fucking, my mom drove me to school. Like I didn't know where the fuck it was, you know? I didn't know anything about the town. My mom fucking drove me to school, and I went to school. I did my thing, and then she came and picked me up, and we're bailing, and some little fucking like choloed out fucking gangster kid come and fucking like pounded on the hood of the car and shit and got all fucking crazy. So I jumped out and fucking chased the kid down and took him to the ground. And my mom fucking freaked out. She's like, "You're gonna get fucking shot," and shit, and freaking out. And then it just kind of, I don't know, man. Everything it worked out. I kind of fell in with some with a rough crowd there for a bit,
Sure.
and yeah, it was interesting. It got fucking. There's some heavy shit down there.
Oh yeah, yeah. San Pedro gets pretty wild. That's where the ghetto meets the sea, dog.
Yeah. Oh yeah. No, I started
Um,
fucking hanging out with a bunch of guys from Rancho, which is RSP, and there was. We'll just leave it at that. There was some interesting shit that happened.
Yeah, oh, yeah. We don't need to get into heavy detail for sure. But so I know you still skate, don't you?
Yeah, when I can.
Yeah. I know. I mean, I know you're busy. You're a commercial fisherman. I know you're fucking out to sea quite a bit, and then you try to spend a lot of time with the family. I know you got shit going. But so what came first? Did punk rock or skateboarding come first, or did you kind of catch them at once?
Skateboarding came first. I started skating when I was like 5. My older brother he's a surfer and skateboarder and all that shit. You know what I mean? Fucking from like the 80s and whatnot. And he gave me my first skateboard. I was like 5 or 6 or some shit like that. And I was like, oh, this thing's rad, and started fucking around with it. You know what I mean? And instantly fell in love with it. I surf too. And I found out real quick, I'm way better at skateboarding than I am at surfing. And it's a lot more fun to me. You know
Yeah,
what I mean?
yeah.
So
Sure.
yeah, I didn't get into the punk rock thing till I was like a teenager, fucking, I don't know, 13, 14, some shit like that.
Sure. What was that first setup? Like a Nash board?
No, it was a fucking, it was Rodriguez Pal Peralta.
Oh, so wait, this was your brother, you said? So he knew the time. He knew what was up.
Yeah, he was fucking into it, and I fucking just kind of got the pass me down.
Mm-hmm.
Ray Bones Rodriguez.
Nice. So skateboarding came first, and you got into in punk rock later on. About when did you get into punk rock?
I don't know, probably about like 13 or something like that. 13 or 14. I'll say like I got introduced somewhat to like alternative type music at like, I don't know, 10 or 11 or something like that. You know what I mean? My brother was all into punk rock and different shit too, but he's way fucking older than me. I didn't see him very much. He's, what is he, fucking 15 years older than me or something like that. So I remember like, I don't know, I was young as fuck, and I forget who it was, but some like, I don't know, dude, one of those fucking like kind of poppy, bubblegummy punk fucking bands, when I was young, like, I don't know, Guttermouth or fucking like No Use for a Name or some. No, not Blink. Yeah, typical, like fucking No Use for a Name or some shit like that,
Yeah, I mean, back then, Blink 182 would have sounded just like No Use for a Name. Those first couple records were just a fat record style, pop punk gimmick or whatever. But yeah, I'm with you. Okay.
Yeah.
Propagandy, and No Use for a Name and shit like that. Yeah.
Exactly. And then when I got a little bit older, I moved back to the Central Coast at some fucking point. I don't remember when the fuck all this shit happened, but Nat started getting me into heavier shit. You know what I mean? I started listening to fucking punk rock as we know it. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
And that's Nat's your married to your cousin, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Nat, I've mentioned Nat on the podcast before. No one really knows who he is, but Nat's the fucking best dude ever.
He really is.
And I mean, if the two of you got in a room with me and a microphone, we could do one podcast that would be 6 hours long, and we could just divvy it up and do it over the course of 2 months, dog. Because you two out clever me constantly. I'm just like, I can't even hang. So I mean, I bring up this punk rock origin story because as far as I'm concerned, for me personally, and for most of the people involved in our thing, it's essentially the religion. It's the way of life. It's the path you follow. That's why I'm wondering, what was there a particular moment that you switched on? Was it a record, or did the older homie take you to a show, or did you hear something on the radio, something like that sent you down this path?
I think where it really hit, it was Nat, and it was his 21st birthday. We went to a fucking Vermin Trash show in like Lompoc or some shit like that. Yeah. And I was like, oh, this is fucking, this is it. I mean, this is what's up right here. This is me. You know what I mean? And no, it was on from there. I just kind of started exploring. You know, this was also way pre-internet fucking searching ages and all this shit. You know, so I just started exploring all the music I could. You know, fucking meeting people that had, you know, all sorts of CDs or vinyl and fucking listening to as much as I could. And that was like, once again, bringing him up, he was hugely inspirational in that, because that dude had a fucking insane music collection. You know what I mean?
Oh,
so yeah, I started really, I was hanging out with him and Kelly a lot, and, you know, we'd listen to music and fucking hang out for hours upon hours upon hours, and, you know, fucking fuck off and have a good time and yada, yada.
Right on. So, I mean, yeah, that's the best shit ever. What a great guy to have you Sherpa you up the mountain of punk rock. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
I might have to fucking interview that guy just because he's so goddamn entertaining. So, when did you join the military, and what had you wanting to do that?
I joined when I was 24. I joined super fucking late.
Right.
And, you know, I had this thing where, I don't know, man, I was kind of like this really conflicted youth, so to speak, you know, where I was all in the punk rock scene, and then I kind of, this thing happened, and all of a sudden I became a skinhead, you know what I mean? And fucking started doing that thing. And I had this thing for tradition, you know what I mean? And my dad was fucking airborne infantryman with fucking Vietnam. My grandfather was an airborne infantryman in World War II. And my uncle was whatever the fuck he was. I don't remember what his MOS was, but he was in the Army too, and went to Vietnam and did all that shit. And I was looking at it like, you know, I'm really the only one that's going to carry the torch. My little brother is a stoner metalhead, and my older brother's a not metalhead stoner. You know what I mean? So it's fucking, I just
which is awesome in its own right. Both of those things.
yeah, exactly. You know what I mean? And I had this, oh, dude, I was young and impressionable. And I just had this sense of patriotism where I was like, you know, my country's asking this of me. We're at war. Fucking do it, you know?
Sure.
And so I did it, which is, like I said, kind of contradictory in itself, being all into fucking punk rock and that, and then feeling this spark of patriotism. It was kind of I don't know, it was a weird fucking thing, man.
I get that. I can totally understand that. Lord knows I went through that as well, as conflicting feelings of, I'm not happy about this, but this is, I live here, and, you know, whole deal. And we talked about off the thing, I tried to join the military and they laughed me out the door for certain reasons we won't get into here. But so when you were in, were you still riding that patriotism horse? Were you still heavy on that throughout the entire thing, or did that fade? Did it change?
It changed. So I was still, you know, I was still feeling it, you know, like, okay, I'm doing this. I said, I'm doing it. And, everything was great. I went through basic training. I actually was really good at the Army, which was interesting because I didn't lose my mouth. I would talk shit to people constantly. I talked shit to people who outraked me exponentially, and somehow I just wouldn't get in trouble. You know what I mean? It was fucking wild. But where I had that change, I'd been deployed for a good fucking minute, and I was in Baghdad, and we got into a firefight. It was a heavy fucking time that was going on. Jaish Ahmadi, which was a Shia militia, had taken over fucking Baghdad. And I'd been in numerous firefights and all that kind of shit before, and it wasn't really a huge deal. You know, I mean, it was a big deal, but whatever. But this one in particular, we were fucking outgunned like a motherfucker. We got ambushed, and it was on, and we went black on ammo. We ran out completely. Right. No fucking ammo. And we're calling for air support, and we're calling for fucking any support, you know, and nope, not getting it. They wouldn't send air support because it was too hot, and they didn't want to risk losing a gunship or a fucking Apache helicopter. They didn't want to risk losing an aircraft. We're calling for somebody to come out and fucking help us, you know, reinforce this, that, and the other. Wouldn't send anybody because they didn't want to lose fucking extra Humvees or a fucking tank or a Bradley or anything like that. And they just straight fucking said no. and we're sitting there pinned down, no fucking ammo. And, you know, that was kind of the thing where, like, I knew my life was expendable being an infantryman in the Army. But I at least expected to have the means to survive. You know what I mean? And that day was fucking gnarly. I remember we're out and I'm sitting there, you know, fucking collecting an AK and fucking trying to find AK fucking magazines and fucking 7.62 rounds and shit that were left behind from people who dropped them, whatever, people that were no longer alive, and fight back with that. And then the platoon sergeant from the tank platoon just fucking rolled out, dude. They're telling him, no, you can't go. And he, fuck you, and just left and came out and fucking brought us ammo and shit. He ended up getting like busted down in rank and all sorts of shit. For disobeying fucking orders, and brought us fucking a bunch of ammo. And it was enough to where we could get, you know, back to our vehicles. We get back to the Humvees and we got the fuck out of there. We were able to break contact and get away. You know what I mean? And it was kind of that moment right there where I was like, fuck this shit. And on top of that, that whole entire feeling of what the fuck are we even doing here fucking set in. You know what I mean?
Sure.
It was, yeah, that was kind of my change where I was like, yeah, no, fuck this noise, dude.
Yeah, that's insane. That's the thing that gets me. This, I'm sure it did you, is that I understand that I'm an infantryman. I know what my place is, but you're not going to have my back at all? That's fucking nuts, dude. It's out of line, really.
Well, what it boils down to, like, I forget the exact numbers. I used to know them like off the top of my head, but you know, you take 30 infantrymen, and our life insurance policies were $450,000, right? Yep. So you take fucking 30 infantrymen, you multiply that times $450,000. That's what, fucking $13.5 million or something like that. Or you take a fucking Spectre or an Abrams, it's $100 million. So it just kind of boiled down to, it's cheaper to lose us than it is to lose this fucking Abrams or this fucking Spectre gunship or a fucking, you know, whatever it may be that's coming out. And that's kind of,
it's completely fucked.
Yeah, when my life boiled down to money as opposed to taking out the enemy, it was a huge just kind of kick in the gut, you know?
Right. Yeah, I'm sorry that fucking, definitely that occurred to you, but I'm glad that, you know, glad that you kind of got some type of awakening out of it.
Yeah.
And of course you survived. So I'm glad that you're here to tell the fucking tale. So your man comes in, drops off ammo, backs you up. You guys get out of there. And was there damage to the vehicle that he brought?
No.
Exactly.
No. I mean, he got some AK rounds bouncing off it, but that didn't do nothing to a fucking Abrams. You know what I mean?
Fuck no.
And that dude came out and fucking just started laying down shit with the coax. It's rad. You know, those Abrams, they have the main gun, which is like the big fucking boom cannon.
Sure.
Then they have the coax, which shoots, I think it's 20 millimeter fucking rounds. Mm-hmm. They came and laid down fucking waste with that. We got our fucking ammo, got back into the fight. We're able to get out and break contact. He's laying down fucking, you know, suppressive fire with that fucking coax gun. And it was, it made it pretty fucking easy to get out. You know what I mean? And like I said, there was no damage to the Abrams. It was totally fucking fine. You know? And there's the thing is, it wasn't just one that came out. There was 2 or 3 of them. I forget what the fuck a tank platoon is. I think it's 2. I don't remember how that shit works. Yeah, he didn't come by himself. He fucking that whole entire platoon fucking rolled out to us.
Nice. Oh, I'm glad he fucking did. That's a good man.
Yeah.
So now how long were you in at this point?
Oh fuck.
And also how long was your career?
So I was in for fucking 3.5 years. I got medically retired for zigging when I should have zagged. But at this point, I hadn't been in all that long. Fucking so like when I went to basic training, I got out of that. I went to my unit, and they were deploying right now. I went to QRF, all their shit, fucking got all my shit, or CIF, sorry, got all my shit and fucking bailed. So I went from Fort Benning, Georgia, for basic training. went to my unit at Fort Riley, and within 2 weeks I was in Baghdad. So this was maybe, I don't know, maybe 10 months into deployment or something like that. We were deployed for 16 months. And this was like 10 months into it or something, you know what I mean? And it was where shit really started to heat up. The beginning to the first 10 months of the deployment, you get in little skirmishes here. There are little firefights, that would last an hour or two. And it wasn't really a big deal, you know what I mean? It was fucking just kind of do your thing and fucking you're back on your way, you know what I mean?
Sure.
It was it was mellow for the most part. That fucking last part of the deployment though went fucking hard, man. So like I said, that Jaish Ahmadi, that militia, they had taken over Baghdad essentially, and they were killing fucking all the Iraqi army and all the Iraqi national police, and were just fucking wreaking havoc on everything. I mean, every day was a fucking fight, like big fights, getting firefights that last fucking over 24 hours and shit,
Right.
And they were making this big fucking push to just, they were bringing it. It was a interesting time.
And I mean, did you end up? This is actually the only time I've ever heard of this particular militia is from you. We've talked in the past a little bit about this stuff. Did y'all squash them out? Is it a mummy rap on those guys? Or are they still around? Or you know what I mean? Or were they around when you left?
They were around somewhat when I had left, but they had been beaten down pretty hard. We fucked those guys up pretty heavy. And they were still around and came to make a peace treaty right about the time that we were leaving, because we were fucking laying it to them, And at that point too, we were training a Sunni militia to fight Jaish Ahmadi, and we were fucking arming them. We're doing all the shit that America does when you go fucking start a war in someplace. We're going to train all these people, you know what I mean? Which is actually pretty wild. I've got some pictures and shit I'll send to you off the side here. But I got pictures with our arms around the fucking smiling and with the leader of that Sunni militia, and turns out that dude was fucking al-Baghdadi, and that Sunni militia is fucking ISIS now.
Oh shit! Wait, so they weren't planned? They just became the other shit.
Yeah. So I mean, they were locals, you know what I mean? And it's a trip, dude. It was straight up got pictures like arm in arm with fucking al-Baghdadi and shit. It's fucking pretty wild.
That's super wild.
Yeah. But what I was getting, we were training those guys. Sorry, I have a traumatic brain injury, so I bounce around a lot.
No. I totally understand that. I'm right there with you.
Right. So we were training these guys, and they were fighting Jaish Ahmadi, and we were fighting Jaish Ahmadi, and they were just getting it up from both fronts, you know what I mean? And so they kind of mellowed way out. I know after we bailed, the unit that took over for us had a pretty easy deployment after that. I made friends with a few guys that were in that unit and kept in contact with them, and everything had mellowed way the fuck out.
You're right.
Yeah.
That's wild. That basically that'd be the second time that I can think of where we made a terrorist organization. The U.S. did. I mean, because we did it with Osama bin Laden in the 80s.
Yep.
So it's just so fucking crazy to me. Like, and most of the people that you fucking fuss with and argue with on that fucking TikTok are the dum-dums that think shit like that doesn't really happen.
No, exactly. And you can show them fucking, I've had arguments with people about that shit in real life, and they're like, no, that's not how it went down. It's like, really? How do you know? Were you there? Because I was there. You want to see pictures? I'll show you pictures. You want to see videos? I'll show you fucking videos. I'm like, nope, that didn't happen. Like, all right, dude, just keep your fucking cognitive dissonance fucking mentality that all we do is fucking good.
It's adorable, for sure.
Yeah.
So after you get out of the military, is this when you become a fisherman, or did you bounce around for a little bit?
No, I did it. I was a fisherman beforehand.
Okay.
Yeah. So actually I when I joined the military, I owned my own business. I owned my own boat. I was self-employed, and it was just one of those things where it was, I don't know. I felt like, okay, this is bigger than myself. I'm going to go do this. You know what I mean? So
Sure.
when I got out, I went right back to it and hopped on a boat with a buddy of mine and fucking went and crewed for him and did that, the deckhand game again for a couple of years. I'd been off the water for a while, and turns out I'm not super good at working for other people. You know what I mean? So I was
believe me, I do.
So I was like, all right, I can't do this anymore. I gotta get back in the chair up here. You know what I mean? So I did. I started running another guy's boat and did that for a couple years, and then started running the boat that I run now. And I've been doing that boat for a fucking long time now, better part of a decade or so, like that.
Things like that. Yeah.
Yep. And that one's actually too. I'm off of that one now, and just I went to the bank thinking they were going to tell me to go fuck myself, and they didn't. So I bought my own now. So
right. Yeah, that's a beautiful boat. And you got a handful of guys on your crew as well. It seems like every time I talk to you, the season's doing pretty good. So that's good to know.
Yeah, those guys, all my crew that has been with me on this boat that I've been running, they're all going to come with me, and it's a pretty good feeling. You know what I mean? Bouncing, don't have to worry about crew issues. I got a solid fucking group of guys that are going to come and know what we're doing. Already know how to do the job. I don't got to worry about training new guys, all that kind of shit. We all get along and fucking work well together and get the job done. So I'm pretty pumped on that.
Right. So let's get into some fun shit. Maybe we can talk some dark shit later too. I don't know. I'm just playing this by ear. Rock shit, ADD shit. I've been hitting the head a lot of times too. I'm a little scattered.
Rod.
So most memorable show you ever been to?
Fuck.
Not necessarily a punk rock show. Like,
I know.
You tell me that you saw a fucking Motorhead.
I did see Motorhead.
I never got to see him, man. I never got to see him.
I did see Motorhead one time, and that was definitely right up there. But probably, honestly, probably Black Sabbath. And I saw Black Sabbath and Iron Maiden, and they played together, and they played with a whole bunch of other fucking bands too. It was at Ozfest, and I went down to like San Bernardino, somewhere down south there, and went out to that. And I think that was probably one of the most memorable shows because I took my little brother with me, and he was a fucking preteen, you know what I mean? And it was pretty much like his first show that he'd gone to, you know what I mean? And getting there was a complete fuck show. We had like 6 people in like a fucking little Honda hatchback. It was rad. It was fun. It was one of my more memorable, one of my more favorite shows.
Mm-hmm. That's a heavy first for your man too. That's wild.
Yeah.
So what was your first show? What was the first punk rock show you went to? Actually, first show, and then maybe first punk rock show. Unless
my first. So I don't even know what the fucking first show I went to, what it would be classified as, but it was this fucking band called Rosemary's Billy Goat, and it was.
What the shit is that,
dude? I don't know. It was at a coffee shop in fucking San Pedro.
Of course it was. No,
yeah,
of course. Now it makes sense to me. As soon as you said coffee shop in San Pedro.
Yeah, but I showed up and I was like, oh, like what the fuck is this? And these guys were fucking wild. Like I don't even remember what the fuck the music sounded like. I know I didn't like it very much. But the show that they put on was just fucking nuts, dude. The guy showed up, and I mean, he was basically fucking just about naked, wearing like a fucking thong, covered in fucking fake blood with a fucking big old cross. He was like crucified on this cross and coming out. It was like I don't know. It was almost like a PG-13 Guar show.
Very short. Little performance, fucking performance art gimmick, but without the artistic knowledge or money to back it.
Yeah, exactly. It was like a really shitty PG-13 Guar show.
Did you ever get to catch Guar before Dave Rocky died?
Yeah, I've seen Guar about 4 times, four or 5 times, something like that.
Fucking rules, dude.
Yeah, no, it's super fucking fun. Every time I went to a Guar show, I always got sick as fuck afterwards. I'd always come down with some sort of fucked up fucking illness.
I always wondered about that because I got sick after one of them. The first time I saw Guar, I was actually I was only 18 when I first saw them, and I got squished in the middle of the fucking pit, and I was like, whatever. I thugged it out. I drove back from Ventura, and I was like, couldn't breathe. Found out I had a bursted airway in my lung from this particular portion of the show where I got squished between motherfuckers. I was like, shit, dude.
Oh my god, that's fucking brutal.
But yeah, I keep wondering. I'm like, the one time I got sick, I'm like, I wonder if these motherfuckers have dirty cannons, like the shit they're spraying all over. I'm like, I would hope that they don't, but Jesus Christ, like I'm getting sprayed from an alien's dick and fucking a giant syringe and a Nazi skinhead's neck are all squirting all over me, and I'm just it's the whole deal.
Fucking A, dude. God, that was fucking good times.
It was.
Yeah.
So, first punk rock show was that? What was your first show you ever went to?
No, that was my first show.
Okay.
It was that Rosemary's Billy Goat shit. And then the first like punk rock show I can think of that I went to, and I don't remember how old I was or anything like that. I went to God, I think it was fucking Guttermouth at the Trinity Hall. No, it was at the Grange Hall in San Luis.
I might have been there. What year was that?
I don't know, a long time ago. Like probably
late 90s?
Yeah, like 97 or 98 or something like that.
I was there.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was there.
Yep. I went to that one. I think that was the first one. And then it was like, all right, this is cool. And I just started going fucking all the time. Every show that would come through, I'd fucking find a way to get there and find a way to get in.
Yeah, man. I mean, back then up here on the Central Coast, we had, you remember when there was Trinity Hall and the Grange Hall, and there was that secret spot out in Morro Bay called Malachi's, quote unquote. That it was Eddie Numbskull specifically, but there were a couple of people, mostly Eddie, but there was 3-4 shows a week, man, especially during the summer, and it was the best shit ever. I mean, I saw The Business and fucking like for the first time, and I can't even remember. I couldn't remember all of them if you fucking put a gun to my head. But there was a lot of ska-core, and that was back when ska-core was actually kind of fun to go to the shows, at least. It's silly, but it's fun.
Yeah, fucking A, man. I went to all sorts of shows where I fucking listened to the same band like on a CD or like on my phone or whatever. I'm like, God, these guys are fucking terrible. But going and seeing them live was fun as fuck, you know. Just I don't know.
I'll tell you a band that I did. I saw this band called the Hippos, which was like a ska-core band or whatever, and they were very PG. This band, but I was like, oh, these guys are cool. I had a great time at the show. I was running around the pit, punching people and shit, and I'm a kid, like a little kid at the time, and no, whatever. So I fucking the homie bought the fucking CD of them, and we listened to it. I'm like, I don't know about this anymore. Like, this is kind of soft.
Yeah, there's something about just being in that moment, man. Fucking
right.
You know, I think a big part of it too is just getting out with your friends and fucking, you know, I think a big thing that drew most of us to punk rock was a fucking wacky home life and, you know, weird shit happening and, you know, fucking trying to break off and go rebel and do your own fucking thing. You know what I mean? So I think more so than a lot of the bands that I saw where, you know, like I said, there's a bunch of them where I don't really like the band. I think it was more just getting caught up in that vibe with all your friends and having a good time and fucking it's loud and shit's going on and you're getting getting aggression out. And then, you know how it goes at shows, you usually end up getting a fight with somebody and fucking all sorts of dumb shit, you know?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
But I mean, you know, speaking of that, like all the bands that we used to see, Great example of this. Youth Brigade used to come through so fucking often. The only thing I've ever owned by that band is a 7-inch. I don't even remember which one it is. It's in my records somewhere. And that was, I came up on it. Somebody gave it to me. They were just like, oh, here, I don't even want this anymore, whatever, because they were moving. That's the only Youth Brigade thing I've ever owned. And I still know all the lyrics to all their songs because I saw them like fucking 40 times, dude. Like they came through constantly.
Fucking A.
And that's another thing about punk rock, like you said, like we just used to get together and get wild. And never mind the getting in fights and all the fucking aggro bullshit that comes with it. I feel like kids just don't go into the garage and play music and suck at it until they suck at it a little less. They're more concerned with getting a band logo made and printing a record and putting it on fucking Facebook or whatever the kids are doing these days. TikTok, I hear things about. It feels like that's the one thing that's being lost a little bit, but there are still plenty of kids that are having at it, and I'm glad to see it.
Absolutely. And there's a couple of things. I know you just started up one of those TikTok things. There's some punk rock kids on there that are playing some music on there and shit, doing like acoustic fucking just jamming out, fucking around. And there's some kids on there who are fucking killing it. I'll send you some of their shit, man.
Please do.
It's fucking like a couple of them. I'm just like, dude, that kid fucking has it. You know what I mean? If this was 20 years ago, that kid would be fucking making a punk rock band that's going to fucking go tour and shit. You know what I mean? But in today's world, the scene just kind of, I don't know, man. Punk rock got different. It's fucking, it's different.
And especially this last year with COVID, it's gotten real strange, man. But I'm glad to see people still doing shit. Now, you've been up in Portland for a few years now. Do you managed to get out to shows ever? I mean, not recently, but you've been up there for a few years. Did you manage to get to shows up there at all, or?
No, I don't actually live in Portland. I live on the coast. I live like 2.5 hours from Portland. So yeah. So there's been some shows that I've seen that have fucking gone on out there. I'm like, oh, dude, I want to go fucking check this out. And then, by the time you take in the logistics of going fucking driving 2.5 hours to get there, and then they charge the fuck out of you for shows up here. It's ridiculous, dude. I remember, God, what fucking band? Oh, dude, I forget what band it was. It was some fucking, it wasn't even that good of a band, dude. And I remember like, oh, I want to go check these guys out. I've seen them fucking 90 times before, and it was like $50 a ticket or something like that.
For like a club show?
Yeah, for like some shitty fucking, band. And I was like, oh, fuck that noise. I can't remember who the fuck it was for the life of me. And fucking Oregon's weird too. Like I've been getting tied in with a little bit more of the scene, talking with some mutual pals up here that live in Vancouver and Portland and shit like that.
Yeah.
So I think when this COVID shit does mellow out, I can get more into going and seeing the underground shows, the shit that you don't really know is happening unless, you're either like in Portland or something like that. I'm not going to see it in the fucking paper here, like on the internet or anything like that. You know what I mean? Because like, oh, there's a fucking killer show on Friday, whatever, fuck yeah. So I think I can maybe try to actually go do that a little bit. And then plus, since I moved up here, it's been I've been just assholes and elbows and fucking work between boat shit and my house. We've fucking been remodeling my house for 3 years. And
yeah, that's true. Yeah.
All the bullshit, you know what I mean? So it's, I haven't had a lot of time to really do much of anything.
I get that. I mean, I wasn't able to go to a ton of shows even before the shit shut down. But I mean, I get it. Life fucking happens, dude.
Yeah.
So what was I going to ask you about? I was going to ask you about the military in some capacity.
Don't do it. It sucks.
Okay.
Ask away. I'm not saying don't ask. I'm saying don't join. Whoever's listening.
No. Yeah, let's talk about it. That is something I was going to ask you later towards the end, but let's talk about that. So, what would you say to somebody that was going to join? You were in the Army, correct?
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody that's going to join that particular branch of the military or any at all?
I'd say I appreciate the feelings that you have for it. I've been there. I've had those same fucking feelings, and being through the shit that I've been through, dealing with the Army and shitty leadership and fucking deployments, and then the aftermath of dealing with the VA and all the fucking bullshit that comes along. Just it's not worth it, man. You lose yourself. You know, I feel like I've been fairly lucky in reclaiming somewhat of who I was. You know what I mean? A lot of people don't. You know what I mean? And it doesn't end well for them. Fucking, it's one of those things where it's, you know, is the juice worth the squeeze? And
Right.
I can honestly say, you know, not really.
That actually reminds me of a story. We can cut this out, or you can tell me I'm out of line. But I just happen to know this story, and I feel like it illustrates your point. Just to motherfuckers that pretend this shit is Call of Duty, which clearly there's a lot of people on your page that like to do that shit. It's not from afar on any level. There's this story that I know where you told at one point about you had a choice between shooting a guy and possibly hitting people behind him. You want to tell that story?
Yeah. So as I'll start at the beginning, we're on a raid, going after a high value target. We had these people come in this bongo truck, which is like this fucked up weird truck, you know, and they were trying to poke into our cordon or our perimeter, you know, and that wasn't happening. There was a curfew in place, the whole shebang, and you know, we're pushing them out, going through rules of engagement shit. You know what I mean? It's fucking show them, shine them with a laser and shit like that. Homeboy fucking pops off a couple rounds with an AK. We go, fuck this guy, it's on. So we start chasing him, and we ran down the road with him a ways in a fucking Humvee, and those dudes jumped out, and just the way that everything went down, those 3 dudes jumped out. My gunner in the turret fucking laid those dudes down. Me and another guy hopped out and fucking charged forward on foot, and we went, okay, these guys are all, you know, down. They're not a threat. They weren't dead, but they were fucked up pretty good. And we go around this barrier, and there's tons and tons of fucking people behind this barrier. And it's like, oh, fuck, there's 2 of us, and there's probably fucking 30 fucking dudes behind this fucking concrete barrier. So it instantly went into, you know, trying to get everybody down on their stomach, get on your fucking stomach, you know, telling like umbata, which is on your stomach, on your belly. And they weren't hostile dudes. So that was pretty cool. Not all of them. And one dude goes to get into his truck, and I fucking get the fuck out of here. And he fucking, I don't remember exactly what happened. He did something stupid, and I ripped his fucking door open, and I grabbed him. And when I grabbed him, he came up with a pistol, and I fucking took him out. I didn't get shot, obviously, that time. Inside with you. Hey, inside. Put him on the ground, and had my rifle in his face. And dude grabs the barrel of my rifle and tries ripping it away from me. So I come back, and he kind of lifted up at that point, and he fucking grabbed it again, and I went to fucking shoot him, and one of my guys was standing about fucking 4 feet behind him. So I ended up ripping back, got my rifle away, and hit him in the face with a barrel. And he grabbed up again, and so I hit him again, and then I just kind of, I don't know if I blacked out or whatever, but I just started going for it, and kept hitting him in the face with the barrel of the rifle until he wasn't moving anymore, and he ended up dying. You know what I mean? But it was one of those things where it was just kind of that split second. Like it was just, I don't know, man. If I shoot, this is going to go straight through his fucking head and hit this dude behind him. You know what I mean? And I didn't want to shoot my own guy, so that was the best course that I felt I could take it at that point. And you know, did I need to take it as far as I did? I can't answer that. But the dude was definitely a threat, and you know, I wasn't taking any chances of getting me or one of my boys dead.
Oh, you'll get no judgment from me. I mean, I can't. There's no harder decision to make than that, and you made the decision you made, and the fact that you had the wherewithal and the fortitude to think of someone else. You know what I mean? And go the route that you did. And this is a dude that would have killed you, no problem. He would have lost no sleep about it. And he made the fucking decisions he made. Y'all are right there. That's the fucking, someone's gonna make a move. You made the move, and I'm glad you're still here. Sorry you had to deal with this, and I'm sorry. I know that that's not fun, but I wanted to bring that up because I want fucking people to think that the military is this grand, beautiful thing. A lot of people are just jerking off with the flag. I'm not going to put down the military. I'm not going to put down the country. I'm not going to put down soldiers, certainly. But a lot of people are jerking off with the flag and bullshitting about combat that they never saw and talking about things like this, like they've been there. And I wanted you to illustrate this. This is heavy biz. This is not a joke. You know what I mean?
It's not, man. And that shit right there, I will say, that wasn't the first time that I was involved with taking somebody's life, but it's a lot different shooting somebody that's 100 yards away from you and doing it, getting dirty and doing it right fucking here. It's
Yeah.
it's a way different fucking thing. And that shit, all the fucking tough guy shit I did in my life before the fucking military, after the military, whatever, fucking, and all the shit that I did while I was in the military, that one thing right there. And I don't know why, because I know what the other outcome is, you know what I mean? But it fucking, it haunts you kind of, I mean, for a long time, dude, I relived that motherfucking, that night in my every time I fucking closed my eyes and went to bed, you know what I mean? And it was fucked up, man. And like I said, I don't know, man. It's a weird fucking deal. It's just, sorry, I get all bounced around, jarbled there, but whatever, man. It's, you lose a part of yourself,
Of course.
Yeah.
Of course. How could you not? I mean, we've talked about this before at length, and I've talked to, our people about these things. I am astounded and I am in awe, and I look up to you because you were able to put your psyche back together more so than some other folks. There's a lot of people that fall apart because of this. What's the statistic of the PTSD suicides, Joe?
22 a day.
22 a day.
22 people commit suicide a day.
22 a day.
No, it's all right. Yeah. And, that's the thing, that it's a military-wide thing. And in certain jobs, it tends to be a lot more prevalent. There's fucking 9 guys that I know now that I deployed with, that I served with, who are no longer here from their own hand.
9.
Yeah.
That you served with, just you.
That I deployed with. Yeah.
That's incredible.
Yeah, those 9 guys, like, not like, oh, some random dude like that was in my unit somewhere or something like that. It's 9 guys in my company.
Right.
Yeah.
I go ahead.
Oh no, you're good, man. Go for it.
I know this is painful. I know this fucking sucks, but this is important stuff that I don't think people think about when they think of the troops, military, and they say things regarding those things. And I think it's important to highlight them. You are a standout darling, and you are a different level of tough guy because you managed to put this back together for yourself, and not everyone's able to do it. And I just think, I see it honestly irritates me more than anything. The stuff that I see on your page is the guys that run their fucking mouth about stuff they never did to you. And I know just from the stories you've told me, like, this is, A, it's the wrong guy to fucking test on that level. And B, what did you think was going to happen? you know?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I mean, that's the fucking trippy thing with the social media, dude. You know, like I've had, especially with the TikTok thing, I'll say, like, I got doxxed off my first videos that I made. And people started, you know, hitting up like with my mom, my daughter, my fucking wife, shit like that. And fucking sending me some pretty dumb shit. I've gotten at this point, just from the TikTok, thousands of fucking death threats.
Oh yeah.
And all sorts of shit, you know. It's funny because some of these people are so fucking unhinged that, you know, the first set of death threats I got over saying something political, and I don't want to turn this into like a political talk, but it was some fucking thing on Facebook. You know, it was when, I don't remember what the fuck Trump was doing. He was doing some shit with the military in the fucking Middle East. And I wrote a comment that said, I believe that if somebody's going to be in charge of the military, they should have had to at some point served in the military. Mm-hmm. And I just got fucking flooded with fucking death threats and people telling me they wish I would have died in Iraq, and fucking one dude told me the real soldier should have fucking killed you, and if I knew where you were, I'd come fucking do it myself. And it's like, well, we can arrange it, motherfucker. That's the thing, when you hit people in the fucking private message after that, you know what I mean? You're like, yeah, well, here, you want my address? Come on,
let's get busy.
You know what I mean? It's funny to watch people's fucking tunes change, but no, just a lot of these people are just fucking wild, man. It trips me out.
Yeah, I do. It trips me out too. Just, I mean, you've told me some stories outside of TikTok, and I'm just like, get the fuck out of here. And just the videos of the comments that you show, I'm just blown away. I don't understand what possesses people to behave this way. Or, you know what I really think it is? I don't think people understand or respect the power of the tool that they have in social media. They don't really fathom it. It's like they're playing a video game that gives them that feeling that, yeah, I just accomplished something. It's a false feeling. It floods the brain with serotonin and whatever. You get that feeling of doing that shit. But then it's like, as soon as real world consequences show up on their doorstep, they go, well, settle down, man. I don't know. Why are you getting all crazy? Motherfucker, you just said, fuck my mother and you were going to kill my children. That's why I'm getting crazy. So let's go ahead and meet up to get beat up. Let's do the thing.
Yeah. No, I mean, I had one of them. I think I told you about it, and the other boys in one of our group chats there. I had a dude that fucking was sending me death threats and shit like that. He's going to come fucking smoke me and I'm not safe and yada, yada, yada. Yeah. Homeboy, he only lives like 20 miles from me. And like, I'd say a week after he was fucking hitting me up, dude was fucking cruising through the grocery store, being fucking Billy Badass Patriot, appendix carrying a Glock and fucking showing it off, and shot himself through the dick in the grocery store. Yeah. And it was like, really, dude? Like, you guys are going to come get me and this is the level you're fucking bringing? You know, you think because I don't like your political candidate that I don't like guns and I don't got guns and all this shit? Like, you better think again, son. You bring that shit, you better bring a better game than shooting yourself in the dick. You know, it's
fucking, you know, Oregon white people and their superior genes. I don't know what to say about it, man.
Oh, it's fucking A, man. No, that shit got wild for a bit though, you know, as I got a concealed carry, so I'm always packing up here and shit. And, you know, for a while there, it got hectic. They started, you know, they had this fucking, all their parades and all their dumb shit. Fucking, was it 2 months ago? They had one roll through this town here. And there was steady gunfire coming out of these fucking trucks for like an hour. I mean, just steady gunfire into the air, into the hills, whatever, to the point where like my daughter was afraid to go outside. You know what I mean? And it was like, what the fuck, man? And that shit just kind of, it got me all wigged out with these guys, you know, and I kind of went into a weird spot for a while. I was like, fuck this. Like, I would not leave my house without, I had a 45, a 9mm, and an AK-47 that fucking went in my truck everywhere that I went. I was like, well, if I'm going out, it ain't for lack of shooting back. So let's fucking, you know.
Yeah, fuck, six of you were coming with me to the morgue, motherfuckers. Let's go.
Yeah, and that's like I was saying earlier, just with the TikTok thing. It's like, or just a social media thing in general, you know, I feel like I'm just causing issue that I don't fucking really need. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
I
But
get
at
it.
but at the same point, you know, after talking to a bunch of people, you know, it's fucking, yeah, I'm a voice for the fucking people who can't speak up or are afraid to speak up, you know, because at the end of the day, I ain't fucking scared of any of these patriot fucking flag waving fucking dorks.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. It's fucking cute at the end of the, like, I crack fucking up every time there's a new video. I'm like, oh shit, here we go. Every single time. It makes my fucking day, man. I know you're with me on this. I'm a credit where credit is due kind of guy. Like, just don't talk a bunch of bullshit. And if you do, own that shit and take your L if you got it coming. Because I've taken an L plenty of times for my big fucking mouth.
I have too.
But other people have taken the L for their big fucking mouth at my hand. It's just how it goes. But just dust yourself off and move on down the trail. Don't leave your dignity in the comments section and walk away like a bitch.
Yeah, well, that, you know, that's always a thing, and I think I've made it very clear on those people. Like, run your mouth all you want, that's fine. You want to come meet up about it? I mean, hit me up, man. More than well. Let's make it fucking happen.
Hey, nobody wants that smoke. I know it.
No, nobody's fucking actually taking me up on it. You know.
I know it. Well, and no one. That's another thing I was going to ask you. So, like, I know nobody's taking you up on it, but has anybody gone through any of the motions? I know you've hit up a couple people. Like, okay, you want to shoot me? You want to fucking fight? You want to get busy? Fine, I'll pay for it. Here's what we're going to do. This is where we're going to meet up. Has anyone even said, all right, tough guy, fine? Any of that? Or is it just radio silence?
There was one guy on there that was like, yeah, no, let's do it, but I'm not doing it on your terms. He's like, you come to Florida next week or something like that. I'm like, you want me to travel across the country in the middle of a goddamn pandemic to your Proud Boy buddy's fucking gym? Like, come on, guy. I fucking laid it out there for you. Come on out. You know what I mean? We don't have a bunch of fucking, I don't have a bunch of people out here who are going to be waiting for you, all that kind of shit. There's one guy, and finally I was like, all right, fine. Yeah. You know, let's make it happen. You're going to fucking pay my way. I offered to pay your way. Well, I'm not going to pay your way. And I was like, all right, well, I can't make it in that short of fucking notice. Oh, that's the only day I'm going to do it. I'm like, shut the fuck up. Yeah. Shut the fuck up. You know?
Yeah.
And then he started sending me private messages. He made a video about it and put all that shit in the comment section, and then started sending me private messages like, you know, you're probably a pretty cool dude and we'd probably actually get along, and I don't really want to throw down, you know, like, fuck off, you fucking nerd.
That's cute. That's real cute. So let's get back to some existential punk rock shit, just to lighten the mood here. What does punk rock mean to you nowadays? You're a grown man. You got a wife. You got children. Your children are fucking the best ever. That's my favorite shit. When I can see that on your other account, those kids are fucking amazing. You're doing a great job. Your wife is a fucking peach. What does punk rock mean to you now that you're at this point in your life?
Oh man, I love the fucking music, and I love the fuck you attitude. And I feel like at this point in my life, I'm getting older, and it's, you know, I don't know, I feel it just helps me feel more so like I'm not conforming to fucking society. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's, you know, I still have all the views that I had as a fucking 17-year-old kid with, you know, fuck the system, fuck this, fuck that. But now that I'm grown up, it's hard to really practice that because I have a mortgage and bills and insurance and all the bullshit. You know what I mean? And it's a great escape from, you know, everyday life. And that probably sounds pretty poserish, but whatever, man. You know, it really is. It's a great escape where I can sit and just have this feeling of fucking, you know, I don't even know how to explain it. I love it. And I love raising my daughter to not, you know, not trust the system, not fall into societal standards, right? You know, not go along with the crowd because they're fucking everybody, to be an individual, you know?
Right.
Yeah, not follow the crowd when they're fucking doing something that's questionable or whatever it may be.
Mm-hmm. 100%. I mean, I've had people, I won't say who, but, you know, it's someone I care deeply about and I understand where they're coming from. But they told me, you know, you can't just tell your daughters that they can't talk to cops. And I went, the fuck I can't. I will tell them every day of their lives that they shouldn't talk to police. There is no
Yep.
reason. You call your crew, not the cops. Always.
Always.
You need to invest in your community, your neighbors. You need to talk to your friends and if you have integrity, this is not hard to do. The only people that have difficulty doing that are people that are plastic, that you know, build their foundation out of bullshit, and they put bullshit in thinking that gold's going to come out. Nope. Guess what's coming out? Bullshit. Once
Yep.
you put in, that's what you get out. And if you invest in your community and you take care of people around you, you will have some dickheads, but they'll fall by the wayside. You look after yourself, they will look after you, or you look after them and yourself, they will look after you as well. That's the way it's done. And you don't need the fucking police for that. You should be able to go talk to your neighbor and be like, hey, listen, can you turn it down a little bit? It's late. Instead of calling the fucking cops before you even talk to them. You know?
Absolutely. I agree with you 100%. Like I've told my daughter too, you know, I've told her she's only 6, you know what I mean? But I've been on the same thing. You don't call cops. You don't talk to cops. You know, you have an issue that you can't handle. Somebody's scaring you, something like that. You call dad. I will show up and I'll make them stop a lot quicker than the cops are gonna, and they ain't gonna want to come back.
There will be scorched earth if daddy's got to get involved.
Exactly. You know, so that's, I'm on the same page with you, man. And I've heard the same shit. Like you can't tell her not to talk to cops. So the fuck I can't, you know?
Right.
Yeah. I don't talk to them. I never will. My wife doesn't. She never will. In my life, I've actually called 911 twice. But it wasn't for no motherfucking cops. You know what I mean? I called once for a fucking fire, and I called another one for a fucking guy dying actually 3 times. I did one fucking this last June where one of my boys had his fucking leg ripped off, and I fucking tourniqueted him up. And
on the boat?
fucking
I remember that.
Yeah. So you know, I mean, and I've explained that kind of shit to Isabella. That's the only thing you call 911 for, is for fucking medical emergency shit like that. You don't call the cops because they show up and kill people.
And when the cops show up, you don't say shit to them. Be like, I'm here to talk to EMS, not your bitch ass.
Exactly.
So what, growing up, you did it, you know, you said you did skinhead shit for a hot minute. Growing up, were there specific bands? Were you more into like New York hardcore, that skinhead type shit? Or were you into power violence? Were you into fucking that LA fucking early hardcore Detroit shit, Negative Approach? What was your favorite shit?
I got into a bunch of shit, you know, and I really, really got into Oi and like the Templars and the Oppressed and fucking the Last Resort and shit like that. And I got heavy into fucking Cockspar and things like that, you know, and I didn't really discover too much. I won't say I didn't discover it. I didn't develop an appreciation so much for like the New York hardcore until a bit later in life. I remember when I was younger, it wasn't my thing, you know. I was really into that mellower fucking, you know, street punk power chord fucking, you know, 3-chord fucking kind of bluesy oi shit.
77 punk, that type of shit. I was the same way. You know what turned me? Blood for Blood.
Oh fuck. That's actually me too. Me fucking too. I was like, oh God. I listened to Blood for Blood a bunch, and then I still wasn't getting down with a bunch of other shit from the East Coast. And then I don't know, man. One day I just started, like, I liked Agnostic Front and shit like that, the Cro-Mags and whatnot, you know what I mean? And then one day I just kind of started going down this fucking rabbit hole, listening to fucking, you know, Sub-Zero and fucking
Madball and shit.
Yeah, Madball and Upfront and like fucking Mad Diesel and fucking all these bands. And I was like, oh man, this just gets me all fucking, I started getting way into it, you know?
Right. It gives you that shit still gives me a certain feeling, certain Madball records. And if you want to talk about a band that I think is under fucking rated to say the least in that genre of hardcore, Cold is Life from Detroit.
Dude, fucking
that
bad as
shit
fuck.
makes me want to do a barefaced liquor store robbery on a Tuesday fucking afternoon. Like that shit gets me fucking amped, son.
Oh, fucking Cold as Life is fucking money, dude. It's fucking the good shit.
Yeah.
And
hard
I started getting into a bunch of fucking of the West Coast fucking hardcore shit too. You know, Terror and one of them, which is I remember the first time I found them, I was like, oh, this is all right. You know, it's not really my jam. Then I started listening to them more and more, and they kind of got this rappy fucking, you know, hardcore fucking collaboration thing going on. It was that Lionheart. And
yeah, some of that's that Northern California shit. Those dudes they got some joint. That song Rat, I like that song about the rats.
Yeah. You know, I don't like all of their shit, but I got fucking heavy into that for a little bit too with some of their songs, which is weird because it's something that I've never been into that fucking. It's not rap rock. It's hard to fucking. I don't even know. It's fucking. It's like rappy fucking hardcore.
Because I mean, you got bands like Scarhead and E-Town Concrete and Lionheart, and it's like it's thugcore, is what they call it. But there's the difference between that shit and the worst band I've ever fucking listened to, Limp Bizkit, is that we're talking about real motherfuckers. We're talking about dudes that are from our scene, from our thing, and are kind of handling biz. Now, there's a bunch of bands that are like that are full of shit. Now, we don't need to name them. I'm not name checking anybody that's bitch made, but yeah, I mean, you know, fucking Scarhead and some of those guys are from legitimate fucking. They're from the thing. They're from the thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, Danny Diablo.
Ezek's funny to me. he's fucking funny, man.
He is a goofy fucking dude.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
But so okay, we've covered music pretty good. But did you do? Were you ever into hip hop at all or not?
A little bit. No, I didn't get super into it. Yeah, I got a little bit into it. You know, fucking. I don't know. I just never really had the exposure to it, and I got a little bit into shit. What started getting me into fucking kind of. You know, obviously, you know, thing like back to like Wu-Tang Clan and shit like that. But then what kind of really hit me was I started listening to Immortal Technique. Oh, and that dude had some fucking shit, dude. And I was like, oh, fuck, this is what's up. You know what I mean? And then just kind of, that was all like later in life too. You know, I just kind of started exploring YouTube somewhat and finding what I could, you know what I mean? But I didn't get super into the hip hop.
Gotcha.
A little bit.
No, I was curious. The only reason I asked is because you said, a lot of people that I knew were straight up punk rock people that got more into hardcore, and then they discovered bands like I said, E-Town Concrete, Lionheart, something like that, and then they go, well, fucking hip hop's not so bad, and then they start listening to fucking, you know, Mortal Technique, some underground fucking dudes that are really, if you break down their mentality, they're punk rock dudes. You know what I mean?
Yeah, absolutely.
I mean, I've one of the most brilliant things I've ever heard said was that It Takes a Nation of Millions to Hold Us Back, which was a Public Enemy record, that is a punk rock record. And I went, yeah, a fucking 1,000% that's a punk rock record.
Fucking A.
So
same message, different delivery.
Exactly right. Exactly right. So I figure I'll just ask you a couple of what's betters.
All right.
These are two rough ones. These are two rough ones, dude. Anti-Heroes or the Templars?
Oh, the Templars.
Really? Explain yourself.
I don't even know if it's not even about the music necessarily. I think it's just more about my history with, so the Templars is one of those bands that I fucking fell in love with in the fucking 90s. I mean, like fell in love with, I fucking got an album and I'd play the motherfucker on repeat until everybody wanted to murder me. You know what I mean? I love the Anti-Heroes too. I fucking do. But God, some of their fucking Tradition is, that song is just fucking insane to me. It is good as fuck. But the Templars, I think it's more of a just the history that I have with that band.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Or with that thought. And I've never seen the Anti-Heroes. I've seen the Templars twice. And
Same.
I think it just boils down that fucking sentimental value. You know what I mean?
Absolutely. Yeah, there's the nostalgia. I get it. And that's the funny part, is that I have more nostalgia for the Anti-Heroes. It's really what it comes down to. Also, they're better musicians. I think it's more clever. I like the in-your-face, we don't give a fuck thing that's more there than the Templars. But as far as OGs and traditional American oi, I mean, the Templars will take it. But
yeah,
overall, if you put in all the factors, I gotta go Anti-Heroes. But that, once again, that's me. It's all good.
It is a tough one, though. You take fuck, you said that in your face with fucking Jerry was a piece of shit, or fuck Hollywood, or, you know, Return to Manzanar. Fucking, they're all just insane fucking songs.
And dude, some of you gotta understand, I will go back and listen to some of these Anti-Hero songs from any record, and they melt my fucking brain still to this day. I'm like, these motherfuckers are intensely good musicians, and they're pretty fucking brilliant. I mean, not that the Templars aren't good musicians, but it is mid-tempo oi. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Anyway, I'm not shitting on the Templars. Those guys are the nicest dudes ever. I'm a big fan, but this is the rough one. This is the one that my podcast is predicated on, from a over 10-year, well, actually going on 20-some years argument between me and Perry. The Clash or the Stiff Little Fingers?
Fuck.
Oh, see, now I've hurt your feelings. I see it.
No, I'm thinking.
Yeah, it's a rough one, dude.
It is. I don't know,
and obviously there's not a wrong answer. There's not a wrong answer.
Yeah. Oh man, I'm gonna go with just off. Fuck. I'll go with the Clash.
Okay.
Yeah, and I think I'll do that on the same basis. That nostalgia, that fucking. I look at the Clash as being one of those bands that it is one of those bands that really helped bring me into punk rock. You know what I mean? And just have that. Yeah, I love the Clash.
Yeah, they're amazing. I got ganged up on the other day with our episode with Jeff Thornton, our boy Creepy from up north.
Oh yeah.
And fucking Terry got all excited because he finally had a guy that said "fuck the Clash," and I'm like, yo, you know what? I'm not mad at any of you motherfuckers, but my argument was always the Clash. You know, my biggest reason was like, of course, most people would be like, why are you backing the Clash? The Stiff Little Fingers are Irish. Well, that's not the only thing that comes into it for me. The thing is that the Stiff Little Fingers have cited the Clash as such a heavy influence. They have several songs about the Clash, like 4 or 5. If there wasn't a Clash, there wouldn't be a Stiff Little Fingers. It's one of those things. I don't like the fucking Doors, but I don't like the Doors at all. But I'm telling you right now, if it weren't for Ray Manzarek, there wouldn't be an X. And I love X. It's one of my favorite bands. So, look, you take the good, you take the bad, you take them both, and there you have this fucking interview.
That's life.
The facts of life. You have any parting words for our people out there? Anything else you want to talk about? Because at this point, we're just having a discussion.
Yeah. Not really, man. Just fucking, I don't know, man. I don't know. Fucking don't join the military and fucking stay true to yourself. You know, fucking, I think that's a big thing here where everybody gets caught up in all this fucking ego, especially with all the social media and all the fucking, I do this, with people being locked in their house. Everybody gets a big fucking head about what they would do. You know, I don't know, watch too many movies and get a fucking, like we were talking earlier, just be true to yourself. Fucking know your limitations, know what you can do. Don't fucking step into something where you're gonna fucking face real world consequences that are gonna bite you in the ass.
1,000,000%. I couldn't agree with you anymore. And I probably forgot to talk about certain things that we should have that have been interesting and cool to talk about. So maybe we'll do another one. Who knows?
Yeah.
But in the meantime, I'm gonna let you go. I know you got shit to do tomorrow morning. So you pick the Templars. Let's play some fucking Templars. What song you want me to play by the Templars, buddy?
Ooh. These Four Walls.
Whoa, heavy. I didn't see that coming. You know, I figured you were a Night of Seagulls type of guy. All right, my brother Joe, I love you so much. Thank you for doing this with me. And we'll talk to you soon, huh?
Sounds good. Love you, brother.
Love you, brother. Here goes the fucking Templars. Big love, Joe.